Chains rattle broken, now we rise. Flag in my hand, stars burn the skies. Truth ain't dead, though the liars try. They scream loud, but the words all die. Guys watching hands, praise to the throne. Freedom ain't free, blood built this home. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Red, white, blue, we bleed to survive. God bless the brave who fight and strive. Continue freedom, keep it alive. Land of the free, ain't bending the knee. Truth in my veins, it's all I see. Patriots roar, no fear in the fight. Continue freedom, stand in the light.
Okay, welcome back to Continue Freedom. Thank you all so much for being here. All right, so I wasn't going to do a live stream tonight, but I decided I was going to do one briefly. So I'm not going to do the full, probably won't do the full hour, but I have to bring up this Somali immigration fraud, and I've got to bring up some recent stuff with Candace Owens. This is for some of my loyal followers. But before I get into that, I do have to say I have some things a lot of things to be grateful for this year, and in particular with this channel. So first off, we got out of algorithm jail, which has been wonderful. And I'm going to show you a graph here. This is my viewership over the last year, over the past 365 days. You can quite clearly see where the algorithm jail stopped. And it was when YouTube made some changes to the algorithm. And we have, therefore, in the past year, tripled in size, which has been fantastic because you make videos for a year and a half and it just gets throttled and throttled and throttled. And all of a sudden, they open it up and people are allowed to see your content. It's fantastic. I'm also thankful for the great group of people that have been consistently following this channel recently. It's been wonderful. The chat has been amazing. And this is what it's all about. This is what we're doing here on this channel. We're building a community. We're informing people, people that of, not everybody agrees on everything, but we're going to have, by and large, right? We agree on a lot of things. But we're all at the end of the day, we're wanting to improve this country, right? We want to change the moral foundation of this country, get it back to Judeo-Christian principles. We have the best of intentions, and I've got a group of followers, subscribers that are absolutely willing to do that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the news. So let me say thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate you guys very much. Yuck, you're the first one in the comment tonight. In my opinion, Melissa Hortman and her husband were deleted because of this. She would be exposed, months ago. Okay, let me put that one up. First comment. I've got to leave it up. Let's see. Hey, the real KC. All right, there you go. Okay, so yes, this is what I talked about a couple of live streams ago. We were discussing it. And I'm going to get to that second. So I'm going to start with a Candace Owens thing that I just have to bring up because I had an epiphany. And you guys are probably familiar with the Cabot Phillips situation. And Candace, she came out and she said, "Oh, update, Cabot Phillips has responded to my text to clarify matters." And speaking of this, there was a live stream done by Jay Witt, the Jay Witt podcast. And he did a really good laydown on this. And his take was that he shouldn't be saying, don't even respond to this lady. This lady's absolutely nuts. You don't need to respond to Candace Owens. Why in the world would you be doing that? And to which I agree. That's just given more air to it. But I also think that the power behind her monstrous platform is forcing them to do it because it involves donor dollars, because it involves subscribers. And it's a massive machine over there. So I think that from a business perspective, they feel like they need to respond and they need to clear the air. But showing this is, by the way, let me see. I didn't pull up that one. Oh, here it is. Let me pull it up here. Just to kind of inform anybody that didn't see this before, this is her saying, talking about Cabot Phillips, who posted the photo saying, "This is where I was when I was there," so on and so forth. She does this video showing how to change not the metadata, but how to change the timestamps on photos. And, I think that this is interesting. She did it because it's now discredited every timestamped photo that she produces from this point forward. But it's also interesting that she was very inept at doing this. Sure, or very capable of doing this, rather. So she was very well versed in changing the timestamps on photos. But it got me thinking. I was like, okay, spreading a lie, then making a response to a lie, making someone respond to a lie, while you and your team of psychotics, psychotic minions, are there preparing the next lie. She pitches it as journalism. She pitches it as as investigating, as she likes to say. But this isn't journalism. This is tabloid smut, is really what it has become. And I think that the equivalency I made is Candace Owens with the largest podcast in the world is a bit like giving a toddler an Uzi. It's like there's going to be carnage, there's going to be destruction, there's no good into it. But she's got it. She keeps running with it. Like a lot of her minions, maybe someday she'll change her tune. Who knows? And get back on track. I think that she's lost, because she's taken it this far, she's lost so much of her credibility. But the whole process of her throwing out a smear, throwing out, these lies and deceptions and doing it intentionally, obviously, then capitalizing, monetizing on the lie, and then moving on to the next lie. It was familiar to me, and I was racking my brain. I said, somebody has explained this. I know that I've heard somebody explain this. And here's who it was. Lo and behold, as I said yesterday, calling them lefties, these people that have come into the system, Nancy Pelosi, she explained this. She explained this back in, I think it was 2020. When was this one posted? Let me look and see. I think it was 20. Yeah, so it was last year. Nancy Pelosi actually said this. This is exactly what Candace Owens is doing. Check this out.
You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic, and it's self-evident.
I was like, oh man, Nancy Pelosi, as if to make my point any better, the person who explained it was a lefty. So, oh my goodness, the evidence. I mean, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. She never left the left. She monetized the right. Now she's doing the wrap-up smear. This is her thing. It's her shtick. I thought it was hilarious. Okay, so let's get into the daycare thing. That's my short little spiel. Like I said, this is not going to be a full-on, long 1-hour live stream. It's New Year's Eve, and I'm going to go spend some time with my wife. But I had to point that one out. Okay, let's talk about the daycares. Everybody's heard about the Somali daycares raking in. So Nick Shirley, if you didn't watch him on PBD, it was Patrick Bet David podcast. It was a really good podcast. It was really, really good. PBD does a pretty good job, and he has said that he estimates the number to be around 100 million in fraud. Well, the fraud, obviously people are going to need to come out and cover up that fraud, try to prove that it wasn't fraud. So we started seeing videos. The day after all this stuff made the headlines, children all of a sudden started showing up. People that have been living around these daycare centers for years, some close to a decade. I think the longest I heard was like 8 years, and he'd never seen anybody coming and going out of the building. And now all of a sudden there's some people showing up and saying, oh, no, I do. I bring my kids here all the time. We're going to watch the video. And then CNN and CBS and all these people tried to come out to debunk Nick Shirley, and they, in fact, start proving his point. But here's the first one. This one is fantastic.
Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner because, unfortunately, someone came in to our daycare. The cleaner called the owner and told him what happened and the vandalism that happened. The owner called us. Me and another manager came into the scene around 6 a.m. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As he came in, he broke a door from the wall from Family Dollar from the side. He couldn't, unfortunately, we don't know if that he went in or not, but we saw that it was damaged. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community, as one video made by a specific individual made this all happen.
Okay, so it's Nick Shirley's fault that someone broke in. I have to ask, what do daycare enrollment records go for on the black market? I mean, people steal things that have some sort of street value. What is the street value of a daycare enrollment form on the black market? I don't know. You be the judge. You guys let me know. When was the last time someone broke into a daycare, period? When was the last time somebody profited off daycare documents? And why was the person breaking in from the inside? There's the other question. You can clearly see when they show the video footage, somebody destroyed the wall from the inside. You can see that the wall behind it is intact. Nobody climbed through that hole. That was done from the inside. This is clearly people trying to cover up for their fraud, saying, well, the documentation's gone, so the evidence is gone. Whoopsie daisy. I'll play the video from inside the building. Here, let me play this one. Yeah. Oh, and that was the other thing, is that they blamed Nick.
Vandals got into the daycare through cinder block and appeared to be unsuccessful when trying many other ways.
So they got in the building. They stole everything. They tried to get in through cinder block, but were unsuccessful. Well, how'd they get in the building to begin with?
The daycare says it appears the vandals first tried.
Not to mention, if they first tried to come in through the cinder block and they were unsuccessful, they broke in the door. The cinder block's on the other side of the wall. You see what I'm saying? Like, none of this makes sense. It's so blatantly obvious. Let me see if I can fast forward to the part. Oh, okay. I mean, it was obvious. Somebody kicked the door, all that. And they say because of this one video that this one guy, random guy that he posted, this is why we got broken into. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the next piece of this is they started bringing out everybody, la-di-da-di everybody, because this is obviously targeting the Somali community. It's not because of the fraud. It has nothing to do with the fraud. It has everything to do with us being, people being racist, bigots, whatever it happens to be. And they brought out a young lady who said, if I don't get this money, I can't go to school. I can't this, that, and the other. Here you go. Check this out.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
Whoops, I wasn't supposed to say that. I mean, this guy, it was kind of cringe. You feel bad for her. I feel bad for her because they paraded her in front of the cameras because she's a young woman. She has allegedly has kids, or apparently has kids. They said, read this script. She read something, and apparently she wasn't supposed to say. Weird. Now, CBS, obviously the mainstream media, we're going to talk about CBS, and we're also going to talk about CNN, how unintentionally, or because of their own blind ignorance, they kind of proved Nick Shirley right.
Is this daycare committing fraud?
No, we're not committing fraud.
Hassan showed us security footage from the same day Shirley was here. According to the timestamps in the videos, this woman takes a young child into the center at around 9 a.m. that day, about 3 hours before Shirley arrives at the door closer to the street. Within the hour after Shirley leaves, a woman arrives at the other door with a stroller. A larger family heads inside a few hours later.
Is this daycare committing?
Okay, so a few hours later, if you look at the information down here, licensed for 40 children, in fiscal year 25, given $1 million. And on it, people are trying to say that Nick Shirley was there during the holiday season. It wasn't. This was prior to the holiday season. This was December 16th, I believe was the 15th or 16th. So this isn't in that holiday season window. And they had, I think it was a total of 5 kids that showed up. 5 kids showed up. They are licensed for 40 children. These are the same places that individuals in the neighborhood are saying, no, we've only seen, we've never seen kids go there. Like, kids don't go there. So unintentionally, they're saying, see, we saw some kids, we saw 2 kids show up at the place, but they were licensed for 40 and they're getting $1 million a year in taxpayer money. 16. Thank you. Yuck. CNN did much the same. So listen to this. This one was great too. Oh, let me pull this up.
Say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children? They're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the
Okay. Well, hang on.
videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
Okay. So they called 7. So 7 daycare centers were called. 1 answered, and they asked them, are you a fraudulent business? Well, this is the same thing that the people that when Nick Shirley would ask them, are you committing fraud? No, we're not going to talk about that. We're not. No, we're not. We have children. Yeah, we have children. We're legitimate. Nick Shirley's doing the work on the ground. The CNN reporter sat in her hotel room and called the people. Only 1 of the 7 responded, and they said, no, we're legit. And she took that as a dunk on Nick Shirley. I think it's good they're doing this. I think it's really good because these anchors that think they're going to dunk on these new journalists who are actually doing the work that reporters used to do. Like reporters used to go door to door. They used to go and sniff out the shady stuff behind closed doors, and they were actual investigative journalists. They've been given car service, nice apartments, massive salaries, research crews. They've gotten lazy, and so they think that a phone call from a hotel room is the same thing that this little Mormon guy is doing. This 23-year-old Mormon kid walking around in in Minneapolis in this instance. But it's not just them. It's not just Minneapolis. This is now being done by, I think Cam Higbee did a video on, I think it was in Washington State. And a lady posted a video. This was highlighted on the PBD podcast. She posted a video to Nick Shirley saying, come to Ohio because it's happening here as well. And I'm going to play this. I'm going to show this to you. So posted by Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson posted this one. Over 40 Columbus, Ohio daycare centers opened in the same day under one shell organization, raking in $14 million in taxpayer dollars in 2024. This is just one city. It's happening nationwide. So it's happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's happening in Washington State. It's happening in Ohio. More of these are going to start showing up. It's all over the country because this is it. The messaging sounds nice, right? It's daycare. It's childcare. It is, this plays into the whole mandatory paternity leave, all these things that have been pushed, which, we can talk about that. I'm obviously not opposed, I don't think, to maternity leave, but nonetheless, it plays nice. It's a way to funnel money, just like the nonprofits. When I highlighted the nonprofits that had tripled in size under the Joe Biden administration, going from millions a year, in some cases, or tens of millions a year with a little bit from the federal government, to over 100 million a year because they were trafficking humans into this country. It sounds nice that these organizations are helping migrants. Meanwhile, it was the largest human trafficking ring in American history. And it was paid for by the taxpayers. And the reason I built the thumbnail the way I did is because people like myself and people like you all, you're going out here and you are busting your hump. You are working your backside off. and you are trying to make a living, and it's getting harder and harder because we're printing money, and we're at 120% debt to GDP ratio. They've been rolling out money like crazy. So we're working harder. The value of what we are earning is less. And these people roll in and they rake in the money. Millions of dollars a year. You want to know why the Trump movement was successful? This is it. Because the people who do nothing, the people that Joe Biden brought in simply so they could vote for him, those are the ones that get the benefits. Those are the ones that get the free money. And I'm not saying we need free money. I'm saying we need to have strict regulations on the welfare state. We need to have strict regulations on any money that comes out of the federal government going to nonprofits. We have to have much stricter regulations. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. And when we see $100 million in one state and not a big state, yeah, the American people should be pretty ticked off about that. And they are. And I also think that this story, that Nick Shirley is one example of many. You know, there's a lot of independent journalists out there that are doing the legwork. And this is, I think, 2026 and on. It's been the people are starting to attract themselves or latch on to new media over the old school media. This is why CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, they're all dying. The new media is taking its place. You have these monster platforms. I want this platform to be big and broad, and I want to have a lot of different shows and a lot of ways to present information to people with a lot of different opinions. That's why I started this whole thing, and that's the long-term plan for it. But that's where people want to start getting their information, because the old corporatized media is doing exactly what the ABC and CNN, or the CBS and CNN, the ones I just showed you, are doing. They are trying to pull blocker for the fraud, not expose the fraud, because they are entirely captured by their loyalty to politics over the people. So Nick Shirley is a prime example of the new media, the actual journalists. They're going to help fix this country. And that are going to bring legit information to we the people. And we also have to be careful, because some people that grow are irresponsible with that. Case in point, Candace Owens. Candace Owens was she gets pitched as the truth teller, and she's this, she's dunking on libs and whatever. But as it turns out, she was not a disingenuous actor in this political sphere. That's the way to put it. She's a fraudster is really what it is. So we do have to be careful. But it used to be the day where you would get somebody pitching, here's what's happening. I've watched some old William Buckley and Gore Vidal. That was an interesting show. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that. You can find it on the internet. And it would get heated. It was a debate between a socialist and a staunch conservative. And people could flesh out their own ideas. You would have actual reporters who, though a lot of them were swayed, and some people say they were CIA, whatever. But if you listen to the old school reporting, it was, here is what happened. Where's the days where people saying, oh, I'm a reporter, here's what happened. Now you draw your own conclusions. It's all become swayed. And I don't make any qualms about the fact that I'm a opinion guy. This is what I'm doing on this show. I'm just here to give you my opinion, my take. You can take it or leave it. That's perfectly fine. Do what you want. But I don't know. I'm excited about 2026, and I think that Doge was one of my favorite things that happened this year, because I love seeing the fraud, waste, and abuse being exposed to the American people. Hundreds of millions of billions upon billions of dollars in fraud has been brought to the attention of the American people. And I'm all about it. And while we have these young, motivated people, kudos to them. Kudos to them. Okay, let's see. The last thing I'm going to talk about And you guys give me your opinion down here in the comment section. I see the comments. I'm going to get to some comments here in just a minute. The last thing is it was a juicy one. That was that CNN was forced to admit that Trump was not buddy-buddy with Jeffrey Epstein. This is the last thing. It's a short one. Let's play, the great Abby Phillip. Oh, my goodness. Here we go.
Breaking news, the Wall Street Journal is out with a new report describing the fallout between President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The Journal reports that a spa worker from Mar-a-Lago often made house calls to Jeffrey Epstein's home, 2 miles away. But those house calls, quote, came to a halt in 2003 after an 18-year-old beautician returned to the club from a house call to Epstein and reported to managers that he had pressured her for sex. The HR manager faxed Trump a letter suggesting that the club ban Epstein, and Trump agreed, which does mirror the president's own public comments about why he cut ties with Epstein. The White House is responding to the Wall Street Journal, writing, no matter how many times this story is told and retold, the truth remains President Trump did nothing wrong, and he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep.
He cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein long before Epstein became a convicted sex offender. A lot of Democrats didn't, and it is corroborated by the Wall Street Journal tonight.
Breaking news,
Is there any better way to end on the new year than to say CNN just had to eat crow? They've been running with this whole Trump and Epstein sort of nonsense, and them having to come out saying, no, well, long before he was a convicted, PDF, he, Donald Trump booted him out and said, no, this guy's a creep. He's not to be anywhere around me. And I brought up the fact that Donald Trump showed up in some of the documents. But in those documents, it was before Epstein even had the island, and he was flying to places like New York and I think Palm Springs and a few other places. So this was before the island and all that debauchery was going down, but Donald Trump alluded to knowing. We've also heard from the lawyer who was working on the prosecution for Jeffrey Epstein, and he said the guy that was the most helpful to him was Donald Trump. We can go on and on and on. The people that are just ticked off, they're the single issue people. They say, well, the Epstein list hasn't been released. Fine. The full Epstein list and all this, too many redactions, all of that. Got it. Let's fight that in the public square. Let's argue that in the public square. I don't think it's been handled great. Another 1 million documents have been uncovered in New York that were being hidden around Jeffrey Epstein. So it's going to prolong this thing. But the people that said, I think the reason Trump's not doing this is because he's in the Epstein, even CNN is saying, well, all indications are, no, he didn't have any relations with Epstein. So CNN eating crow. I love it. It's a great way to end the new year. Not that it's hard to say, all right, CNN is wrong on most everything. Let's get to some comments, and then I'm going to sign off, and we are all going to enjoy our new year. Let's go to this wonderful comment section, all you great people out here. Let's see. Candy is, let's see. Oh, I was going to play the video of her star witness. In fact, let me go back. I hate to backtrack. Sorry, but I am going to backtrack just a little bit. Did you guys see the Hammer video? So the video that his wife, I guess it was his wife that released it to Lottie Dottie everybody. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. Let's play it. And then we'll get to comments.
Do not hit my Mustang.
You can shoot me all you want. I haven't touched this car in forever. It's been in my way.
You want to threaten to hit my car with a hammer? God damn it! Goodbye.
Language, sorry.
Don't beat our door in with a hammer.
Where are you?
Okay, so look, I forgot there was language in this one. The guy is, look, this guy's unhinged. I think he is. It's clearly unhinged. He's been, he's gone through the court systems, domestic abuse, all the nonsense. Oy, it was creepy. The guy's weird, socially awkward, which that, doesn't necessarily mean that he's is what he says he is. But look, you can have arguments with your wife. The moment you start picking up deadly implements, I'm sorry, but you're an unhinged nut job at that point, in my mind, right? You are an unhinged nut job when you start picking up hammers, beating on cars, and complaining because it's Saturday morning and your wife asked you a question that annoyed you. You're not stable. Sorry, you're not stable. This guy has been discredited 6 ways from Sunday. And I'm not going to play the full video, but nonetheless, creep. It just keeps happening. All of her, every time she thinks she's dunking on somebody, she's starting to look like a fool. And even Evan Kilgore, who's a guy that, as I've said before, one of her most devout followers, he's turned on her completely. And what's interesting, this is another way to kind of gauge who's being disingenuous, is that you have these people like Evan Kilgore, hundreds of thousands of followers, and Evan Kilgore has started taking started using the same talking points that those of us that are against Candace and what she's doing have been using. He flipped on a dime. It took one guy, that was it, and then you turn on the lady? He's been hanging on every word that she said, spreading all of her lies and nonsense. It's really, the social media space is sketchy. All right, let's get to some comments here. I saw someone spell her name Candace like a snake. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. It might have been back in 2008, Yuck. That was posted. It was reposted by Vinny Oshani, the Vinny from PBD Podcast. I just searched Nancy Pelosi wrap up because I thought that's what it was called, and it brought up that one. So it could have been back in 2008. Yeah. Very well could have been. You forgot that it's New Year's Eve? Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's turning over the new year. It's just technically it's just another day, but it is a holiday. My wife and I are going to spend a little time together. It's going to be great. We're looking forward to it. Let's see. Candy was number 1 in downloads category, which is easy to manipulate with bots. Yeah. Bots manipulate so much of our social media content. It is crazy. It's like who was it? Somebody had made a post and, I think it was Ian Carroll. Ian Carroll had a post that had 400. I'm going to botch the numbers, but let's say it was basically more likes than views and exposure. So he had 450 likes, but 400 views on the post. Bots are it's weird with algorithms and things, people trying to hack these social media systems to boost stuff. Yeah, it's not good. Let's see. Looks like someone broke in to get the cash in the walls. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case or not. I mean, that's like some mobster stuff. You see it in the movies where they crack open the walls and there's dead bodies and vacuum sealed cash and all that stuff in the walls. Oh gosh. Forgot to mention that Nick, yeah. That's right. That's part of Nick Shirley's op, right? He's going to take all the kids too. Well, this is the thing, kind of talking about the, when we talk about immigration, this is why I used to think, people would say, well, our immigration system is busted and it needs to be streamlined and so on and so forth. I started saying, no, it doesn't need to be streamlined. Like it doesn't. It should take a really, really long time for you to become an American. It should not be cheap for you to become an American. And yeah, you have to pass everybody who does it the legal route has to pass the civics test. They have to understand the Constitution. You got to have some buy-in. You got to have some skin in the game. And when you take people from a country like Somalia and you drop them in the land of milk and honey where tax dollars are flowing like the Nile, then yeah, they're going to take advantage of it because they don't have there's no call to be assimilated into America, So yeah, this is why, everybody brings part of their culture here when they come here as immigrants. They have little nitpicky things, but at the end of the day, they say, I'm not a Somali. I'm not Chinese. I'm not, whatever. You pick your country. I'm not that. I'm an American citizen. And I'm bought into the American capitalist system, all that. when you just get dropped in here from Somalia, you say, all right, well, I got to make money. And you've got Democrats who are feeding you the formula to hack the system, the same one they were hacking when the immigration crisis was going on under Joe Biden, and saying, here's how you want to make money. Let's find some carve-outs, right? Let's find some carve-outs to, build up the Somali community in Minnesota, give them a ton of money, and my speculation, filter that money back into politics. Tim Walz, somebody made the point, and it was somebody on X. They said, and this was kind of I think they were reaching the same conclusion. But after Tim Walz was selected as VP, there was a $34 million influx. I think it was 34 million was the number they said. Influx of contributions immediately into the campaign. Well, we know that about 100 million has been siphoned into the Somali community. The Somali community is the one they are bowing down to. They changed the flag of Minnesota to look more like the Somali flag. They are Somaliaizing Minnesota. Stands to reason that you bring on Tim Walz because he's got that daycare money. It's basically what it is, right? You got access to all that daycare money. Yeah. So there you go. Accuse your accuser. Yep. Accuse your accuser of what you yourself are doing. That's exactly right, Stray Kitten. Welcome back, Stray Kitten. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. They broke into their own business, took their cash in the walls, the documents. There you go. That's the way to put it. That is the way to put it. Of course, you break into your own. I mean, that's like the old school mob scams, breaking in for a fee. We can break in. You get the insurance money. We get what was in the register. We split the insurance money. You get your building covered, that sort of thing. You're in a pinch. I mean, it's just straight up corruption. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. They don't even celebrate Christmas. So we were talking about the fact that Nick Shirley was there on December 16th, which is not inside of that Christmas holiday season. But yeah, they don't even celebrate Christmas. So they would need daycare definitely through that time of year. That's it. Mainstream media is just ticked. Let's see. You got some good ones tonight, Yuck. Yeah, it's the modern day No Child Left Behind Act, except this is Every Child Left Behind Act. We don't worry about the kids part of it. We'll just give you the money. That's it. It's the money laundering. In fact, we prefer you don't have kids because they're a liability. We'll just give you the cash. Let's see. Derange Yeah. I don't know the future. It's amazing to see, to me, that Candy has so many resources, and she sits in her basement and waits for wine moms, mommy sleuths, and deranged abusers to send her random info they make up for her investigation. Boy, doesn't that just that perfectly sums up her super sleuthing. It's, you guys give me stuff, whatever deranged theories, ideas. I went to this place, and a few days after the fact, I saw a picture of somebody and said, "Ooh, I think that was the person that I saw there." And that she's gonna let you just come out in front of millions of people and say whatever you want to say about it. I mean, it's so stupid. But I've said this before too, that people are more bought into the excitement of the story than they are to the truth. They aren't that concerned about the truth. They are more, we're supposed to be inherently distrustful of the federal government, and we are supposed to be inherently distrustful of, the powers that be. But that doesn't mean we go to if you're a complete nihilist, which I think a lot of her followers are, they're going to take that to the nth degree, and there is never going to be a circumstance where the government does anything right, where the FBI is never going to get it right. They're always 100% of the time going to be wrong, and even if they get something, if it appears to be right, they're going to say, well, there's got to be something else behind it. There's got to be something else nefarious. And that's just not the way it works. Like, there is, because we're never going to deny there's government corruption, that we're supposed to question the systems, but to take it to the degree that they have, You know, and I mean, they're at the point they're fabricating things and pulling just nonsense out of thin air. It's crazy. Hey, Curly Girly, you finally caught alive. I know, you've missed several of them, haven't you? Well, welcome. Glad you're coming back. Or glad you got to come back. In the future, great to see you both. I do too. Scott Jennings, he's awesome. He belongs, you know, he's doing the right thing being on CNN, because it's not that it's all that difficult to, to dunk on leftists, but he gets on and he dunks on them in a way that only Scott Jennings can. I think that's the allure of Scott Jennings. He's so sharp. He's so smart. And he fits really well in that world. I'm just saying, he's the perfect guy to be sitting in a CNN seat making leftists on CNN look like blithering idiots. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down. Let's see. I have to run. Thanks for discussing this. Hey, there you go. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know the future. I hope I have a very, very blessed new year as well. Let's see. Strictly not sure what I'm going to ask Google. There you go. Yuck. Okay. Wow, I went 10 minutes longer than I was planning on going. That's okay. It's okay. Emails don't require phone number verification in case I lose the phone again. 34 or 30. Candy only gets those military grade bots. Yeah. Wow. I'm going backwards through the comments. He's an emotional beta with no discipline, also a narcissistic turd. Wow. Here we go. Let's go through the yuck ones. I put them up in the wrong order here. So he's an emotional beta with no discipline, also a narcissistic turd. Candy only gets those military grade bots. And 34 or 36 million within 24 hours. Yeah, it's no joke. And I'll find it interesting why they push her content to the front. If YouTube is pushing your content to the front, it's because YouTube wants your content pushed to the front. And she definitely gets a lot of play, like a whole lot. Hey, super chat. Thank you, Yuck. I appreciate that. Ending the year right. Thank you so much. You have a blessed new year as well. Fantastic. I appreciate that. I appreciate that more than you know. All right. Well, that's a great one to end on. So, guys, this has been a fantastic year. It's been a fantastic year because of you all, because of your support. I am eternally grateful for all the new subscribers that we have. And we'll be back again next year, working hard. I will not be posting for the rest of this week, but next week I will have another live stream. If you don't get the notifications, which I know a lot of people have been saying they haven't, just feel free to pop in and give us a look-see and make sure that you haven't missed anything and try to get me back in your algorithm. God bless you guys. Have a great year, and I'm looking forward to another 2026. It's going to be a good one. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'll see you later.